No more beardos. And that's why today at my direction, the era of unprofessional appearance is over. No more beardos. The era of rampant and ridiculous shaving profiles is done. Simply put, if you do not meet the male level physical standards for combat positions, cannot pass a PT test, or don't want to shave and look professional, it's time for a new position or a new profession. I sincerely appreciate the proactive efforts the secretaries have already taken in some of those areas, service secretaries. And these directives are intended to simply accelerate those efforts. On the topic of standards, allow me a few words to talk about toxic leaders.
Anyways, man, shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, peace and salutation to the elect, and all the brothers pushing this work in sincerity and truth. This is Brother Thamaya from GMS Toronto coming at you with another video. So this is an Edomite, and they're back to the Roman ways, man. This is the Edomite way, back to the old way of doing things. The dragon has awakened again, right? Amongst other things, you're seeing the Edomite picking up Christianity again. And if you know anything about Christianity and its history, you would know that Christianity is laden in Edomite supremacy. Okay? Edomite supremacy and Christianity goes hand in hand, right? The Bible has nothing to do with Christianity. Anyways, so this is an Edomite. He's telling you about his the way they want to go back to doing things, you know, because when you go into the military or whatever, you see a lot of Jakes with beards. You see a lot of Edomites with beards, right? And this has always been the way. They've always promoted a shaven face man, right? Because they want you to look so-called presentable in their eyes, right? And they're just trying to run from what the Lord pretty much blessed them with, which is what? That caveman syndrome, man, right? They know if that beard started getting long, what they're gonna look like, you know. But us Hebrew Israelites, we were given an order and a command to not shave our beards, right? It's a badge of honor, a manly badge of honor, actually. And I'm gonna get the definition of beard, Hebrew, right? Hebrew definition of beard. Hopefully it shows up in the Zondervan dictionary. It does go into being a manly badge of honor. So let me see what it says here. In the Hebrew it says zakwan, right? It actually give you the real word here. That's crazy. Most of the time they put the suffix in there. But anyway, zakwan also signifies age, as the beard was considered a sign of high maturity and a symbol of identity of Hebrew men, right? Distinguishing them from other cultures and genders, right? Zakwan comes from, zakwan comes from zakwen, which is, meaning old or elder, right? When you start growing a beard, right, it shows your maturity. It shows that you're coming of age. And once you get a little older, it gets gray, right? And that shows wisdom, right? The beard was associated with wisdom. Oh, here it is. Maturity and the highest social status in ancient Eastern societies, including Israel, right? And now the Edomite, he's adverse to righteousness. So this is what he does. He wants to bring you back into shaving your face off and looking like a damn bitch. Okay? Right? It's not his culture. Everyone knows that when you're going into battle, if this is his main concern, everyone knows that when you're going into battle, a man that has a beard on his face look more fierce, right? But this is not their thing. This is how you know they're not the Vikings, and they're not those men in the ancient European folklores and history, man. It's not them, right? That's us. That's us, the Israelites. And we always had beards. There's a Jewish tradition here, which is false, right? The beard symbolizes respect, dignity, and faithfulness to Yahweh Shem Shai, to divine commands, right? It also serves to differentiate men from women, a distinction reinforced by the biblical law against cross-dressing. So this doesn't just goes into professionalism, right? It goes into an identity, man. It goes into the sexes. If you ever notice when these TR people, when they take their little vaccine, when they take the little shots of testosterone, what happened? They start growing a beard on their face because they want to be men, right? We have it naturally, and Esau wants it off your face, right? Because Esau knows this is you keeping an oath, and it was a command by the Heavenly Father, man, that we Israelite men should grow a beard and not cut the edges off of our beards either, right? So there's some scriptures here. There's a scripture here. I'm gonna just check it out, and there's also one when those Israelite men got their beards cut off, and then they got sent, and then David sent them away, right? They got embarrassed. So let's get into 2 Samuel 19 and 24. See what it says. 2 Samuel 19. And 24, and it says, and Mephibosheth, the son of Saul, came down to meet the king, and had neither dressed his feet, nor trimmed his beard, nor washed his clothes from the day the king departed until the day he came again into peace. So he made an oath. Let's get that King David man. Beard got shaved. This is 2 Samuel 10 and 4. Wherefore Hanun took David's servant and shaved off the one half of their beards, and cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks, and sent them away. When they told it unto David, he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown, and then return. Right? So this is I think this was a Moabite king, if I'm not mistaken, right, that did this to David's men, because I think his father had died, and his father was in it was under captivity under the Israelites, right? And then when he died, the son took over, and the son, was trying to rebel, from what I remember from the story, and that's what he did. Right? And he embarrassed King David's men, right? And that's an act of war. As for Israelite men, we're not supposed to shave our beards off, man. And, it does make you look manly. A beard on your face make you look manly, man. And this is what the Edomite wants. He wants the beard off your face so you can look like him, right? Bow down and all that stuff. In case you Jakes haven't noticed, man, when you cut your beard off, shave it low, what happens? You get razor bumps, right? You Israelite men are not supposed to cut your facial hair off, man. You're supposed to have a beard on your face. But this is the Edomite kingdom, and he's going right back to what he's used to, man. This is what he is, right? The clean face, Gillette wearing Edomite, man, right? In case you haven't noticed, the last couple of years they've been trying to be Vikings and all that stuff. So now Esau's like, to hell with that, right? Our history is based in Rome, not Vikings, right? And there's another warrior class, the Spartans, right? I was trying to remember the Spartans also. That's not them, man. The Spartans and the Vikings are black men, so-called black men, Judah and Benjamin, right? Right? Those are the tribes that was over there at that time in Europe, Scandinavia, and all those places, right? Greece. Those were Israelites, right? They weren't Edomites. Edomites have always had no beard on their face. Beards in Roman custom. in the Roman Empire, right? Let's see what it says. Beards in the Roman Empire shifted in popularity from being associated with barbarianism, right? And this is another Israelite class of people, the barbarians, right? Shifted with barbarianism in the early Roman Republic to become a symbol of wisdom and civilization by the 2nd century, because the barbarians, as we know, were North Africans, right? They're Israelites over there up in North Africa, right? And they were beating the shit out of these Romans, right? So anything, remember that even up to this day, that word barbarian is used as a negative connotation to these Israelite men up to this day, right? Even when the Roman Empire fell and they came back, they still couldn't keep the barbarian name out of their mouths, man, right? The barbarians had beards, right? Because they also knew that they're part Israelites too. I mean, there are some Hamites up in there, but they knew, right? These Romans were the only ones with their face shaven off, man. Romans and the Greeks, right? Clean shaven look. It's early Roman Republic and Empire before 2nd century. Clean shaven look. Romans started around 300 BC, preferred clean shaven faces, right? And this man couldn't help it because that's who he is, right? Symbol of civilization. A beardless face represented a civilized, successful person, right? And this was in the Roman Empire. Now he's trying to go back to that, and you best believe these Edomites are back into that spirit right now, man. The next shot for that guy pretty drove them right back into that so-called Christian Roman spirit, man. Associated with barbarianism, long unkept beard was considered a sign of poverty, barbarianism, and slovenliness. Let me look at that word. I like that word. Slovenliness. Right? Emperor Augustus, he was known for his meticulous grooming and maintain a youthful and proper appearance. What does that mean? No beard on his face. Okay? We're not trying to look like little boys, man. We're not trying to look like choir boys. The Lord has a beard on his face. Yahushua has a beard on his face. Yahweh has a beard on his face. King David had a beard on his face. Okay? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. All those men, those patriarchs had beards on their faces. That's how you know these are not Israelites that we're dealing with. The Israelis are not Israelites, right? These Edomites are definitely not part of that clan, right? That's why they're bringing back that old time religion, man. That supremacist religion. It says the Greek influence. Hadrian's beard likely signified his alignment with Greek ideas or ideals where beards were associated with wise men and philosophers. So guess who those philosophers are or were? Your Socrates and the rest of them. Can't think of any right now. Those are Israelite men. Okay? Socrates and all those guys that you hear talking about philosophies and all that stuff, right? Wisdom, infinite wisdom. Those are Israelite men that was living in those empires back then. It says they're popular among rulers. This was after the Israelites got into their Septimius Severus. Okay, let's get into that. Following Hadrian, most Roman empires, such as Marcus Aurelius, Jakes, and Septimius Severus, wore beards because they were Israelites. Okay? It says it signifies intelligence and all that. Okay. Mark became a mark of wisdom. The beard became a mark of wisdom, maturity, and manliness. A style emulated by the nobility and common people. Right? Let's see what Septimius Severus looked like. Right? Israelite man right here. Had a beard on his face. Why? Because he was a Jake. Okay? When you look at, and he was a North African, I think, from what I remembered. Right? From what I remembered. So these men are Jakes, And we always wore beard on our faces because we were pretty much instructed and commanded to wear a beard on our face, right? And now the Edomites, they want to come back and shave it off, man, right? So you know whose kingdom you're living in. They're having the final hoorah, right? Hold on. This is Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. So now they're, for years, this shaving off your beard has been a thing where even nations like the Elamites that always had a beard shaved their faces off for a long time, man. And if I'm gonna tell you this right now, if the immigration didn't open up the borders for these Elamites to come over here and bring back the real way of the Hindus and the rest of these Elamites, then you would have seen all these Elamites that's born over here. All their faces would have been shaven off, man. Right? Their face would have looked like fucking chickens, right? And because of what? Babylon the Great, the Edomite, they put that philosophy out there, right? And had these nations shaving off their beards. Have you Jakes? Remember one time you Jakes were just shaving off your face, especially you old ass niggas who don't want to look old. Remember that? Every time you see an old ass nigga talking about, oh, I'm gonna shave my face off. I'm shaving my beard off. I don't want the gray hairs. They don't want the gray hairs to come out because they still want to look young, so they can impress these hoes. Okay, that's what it's all about, right? But there's something greater, man. The Lord, when he instructed you to do something, you have to just, you have to do it, man. And plus, there's benefits to having a beard. Okay, let's put benefits of having a beard. I want to just make this video quick, but I guess the spirit is on me to go a little longer. Benefits of having a beard. Let's see what it says here. Protecting your skin from the sun damage, the cold and irritation by acting as a natural barrier and insulator. It also improves skin hydration, reduce the incidence of acne and razor bumps. Yeah. And that's the reason why I don't, besides the Lord giving me his laws, statutes, and commandments, okay? He, whenever, back in the day when I would, before I came into the truth, I would cut my beard off, line it up and all that stuff, and I would get nothing but razor bumps, man. All over my freaking face. And now, do I get razor bumps? Hell no. It also improves your skin hydration, reduce the incidence of acne and razor bumps, and filter allergens, right? Dust and other airborne particles from the respiratory system, right? The reason why the Lord gave us that beard is for all of these things, man. Additionally, a beard can increase self-confidence, enhance perceived attractiveness, provide a convenient way to express personal style, and eliminate the time and money spent on daily shaving. Fuck all of that. Fuck the money. Fuck the time. It's not about that. It says here, protect skin protection, right? Skin hydration, reduce irritation, right? Improve respiratory health, right? Fewer infections, right? Warming and insulation, time and cost saving, whatever. Conceals imperfections, right? Some people have some messed up faces, and that can hide it for them, right? Forget the social and all that stuff, man. But I'll leave it there. Actually, you know what? Let me get one more scripture. This is Psalm 73:9. It says here, they set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. The tongue means a philosophy, right? And a philosophy of not having a beard on your face, right? You're seeing it in this society, right? I mean, men, you're going to see you're gonna see the real Edomite. You think the Edomite who's trying to be so-called men in this society, you think they're gonna start growing beards again? No, they're gonna shave that shit off, man. This is what they do. If you like that guy that got his neck poked a couple of weeks ago, did he have a beard on his face? No. Right? This is the Christian way. Right? The Bible clearly tells you to put a beard on their face, but then they claim to be Christians and they're cutting off their beards. You know? The president, does he have a beard on his face? No. Look at all his look at all the men underneath him. Look at this guy. The FBI I think chairman. Let's see who pops up. One time I saw this guy with no beard on his face, man. Always shaving his face off. Look at all these guys. Right? These are the Edomites that ran the FBI for directors of FBI. Look, no beard on their faces. This is the Edomite, man. Right? There's another one. No beard. There's another one. No beard. Right? No beard. This is their philosophy. And this is what they want the whole world to do. Right? No beard on their faces. It's so crazy that I'm saying this and I look to the left and there's a ginger guy with a big beard on his face. Right? All the senators, man. If you look at all the senators, right? Presidents of America. When you look at all of them, you got Jimmy Carter here. You got Obama, right? Kennedy, Bush, Carter, Ronald, Biden, Bill Clinton. These are all Edomites, man. Right? No beard on their faces, and that Batty boy at the bottom. They have no beards on their faces. This is the Edomite way. This has always been the Edomite way, the eagle. Right? And now they're back. And now they're pushing that philosophy again. And all these Edomites, pretty soon you're going to see all of them cut their beards off and go back into being Edomites. Shalom.